Hey guys, what's up? My name is Aaron. I'm about to start a turbo conversion here on my non-turbo BA XR6. This should really apply to any B series. FGs I'm not too sure about, but yeah, just thought I would document the process. If anyone's looking to do the same, then maybe they can learn something, or maybe they can teach me something, because I'm going in with very little idea, so it's going to be very interesting. Not aiming for big power, so the motor's getting left alone, it's not getting opened up or anything, so hopefully it doesn't blow up straight away. It is the factory motor that came on the car with 340,000 kilometers or something, so not really too sure how it's going to 6-7 pound of boost, but I guess we will find out soon. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I'll just run through a quick little list of what I've got so far. I'm sure there's going to be more things as we get through it, but plan to make just a bit of a list at the end of it with rough sort of prices and everything for an idea for everybody. So I guess first off, got our turbo, Pulsar 6782, the next gen, just with a 5 psi wastegate actuator on it. Little things like AN line bracket, chucking new coil packs, new spark plugs in it. I've gone internal wastegate on this one, so I've got this cool little adapter that Aeroflow make here, which is the factory rear housing, adapts down to a V-band, which is cool, so I can just make up a little dump pipe for it. Gaskets, and then we've got our fuel pressure reg here. So that's a 4-bar fuel pressure reg, I think it is. Got the map sensor, so a bigger one, so you can actually read some boost. Boost gauge, little thing like that. This is all just to make up the oil drain. So this came in a kit from Barra the World, which was great because they helped me out heaps with all the little bits and pieces I wasn't too sure about. Again, this is their oil feed line kit with the remote filter, so avoid all of that nasty turbo getting blocked by crappy factory oil mesh filter things. These things are really cool. So these are like a clamp that go over your steel water lines, rather than getting the turbo ones that actually have the fittings there for the water supply, water return, because it's getting quite hard to find stuff now. I'll check a photo up, but from Custom Alloy Welding he sent me these out. They look awesome. They just clamp over the lines, drill a hole out, and then you've got an AN fitting that will go straight onto those lines, so that makes life a lot easier. So very grateful that those got sent out, so thank you very much. And then just oil filter sandwich plate, that's just so I can run oil pressure gauge and everything aftermarket. And then down here we've got factory crossover, turbo manifold, intercooler, cooler piping. How much of this piping I'm going to use, I've got to wait and see, because I think I'm going to have to modify it a bit, because we've got a bigger intake for the turbo, and the outlet is, I believe, a bit bigger than factory, which that is factory turbo there, which I blew up on my other car a while ago. So we'll see when we get to it how it all goes. So this should at least be enough to make a good start on it, so I think it's about time to start ripping all the pieces off and getting right into it. Alright, first things first, I'm just going to pull the front bumper off. Got to get it off to get intercooler and everything, get a bit more space, and then get on to getting the coolant drain. So bumper off, filler panel up here needs to come off as well, so let's get that stuff off. Alright, so front bumper is off, so just to get that one off, once this filler panel here is out, you've got this cowling that covers the bonnet release here. Once that's out, it exposes these two screws. Usually got one coming through for the underneath the number plate as well. A couple holding the guard liner in. Once they're out, these sides just pop straight out, and then your bumper is off. So now that's off, we'll jack it up and get the coolant out of this. Yes. Good. So now we get to roll around in coolant, which is fantastic. So try not to work messy. Okay, so now that that's draining and I'm covered in coolant, I'm just going to go through, get rid of this intake pipe here. So you've got the 1-2 bolts here, just pops off from the intake here. Little breather, and then because I'm going to be running this cold air intake, I'll just disconnect it here for now and see how that goes. Okay, so intake is off. I've just taped up over the pipes here and the throttle body just to make sure nothing gets in there. Chuck a rag over it, whatever, but I'm probably not going to be touching them for a couple of days. So now that's covered up, come and take the extractors off. So I'll unbolt them from underneath. Little 2-bolt flange down there, and then unbolt it from the head and lift them out. Alright, the extractors are out now. These X-Force ones, they were a bit of a pain in the ass because to actually get them out I had to disconnect the steering shaft here. So if you ever have to do that for whatever reason, just make sure you mark it so it goes back in the same place. The thing we're working on here is basically removing the factory oil pressure sensor. So it sits right in underneath the intake manifold. It's a bit tricky to get to. You can see in there where that light is shining. Basically, once that is out, we've got this block to fit here. So what that's going to do, it's going to go in place of the oil pressure sensor. Here we have our adapter for our oil feed, and then the factory oil pressure sensor goes straight into the back there. So I've already taken it out. I did have another one in there, a brass one, but I got highly recommended against using that one. So we're going to put this fresh stainless one in there and just battle trying to get that in for a little bit. Right, that's all in there now. It is a bit hard to see, but you should be able to see the AN line sticking off the top and the oil pressure sensor hanging off the back. So it was actually a lot easier coming out because I found this funny socket that I think it's a wheel nut socket or something, but I don't know, it was the perfect size, so it made it a million times easier, which is cool. So now that that's in, what I'm going to do is fit the bracket that bolts on here for the oil and the water feed, and then I'll probably just run that oil feed line into that fitting that we just put on the block there. Alright, so now my oil feed is all in, all tight, everything's plugged in down there. I've left it all loose here because I can't really do too much until the turbo and the manifold is on. I've got the nice aeroflow bracket on there with the speedflow inline filter, which is sweet. Good thing about these is it makes it super easy to access, due to, I think it's just the turbo Barras have got like some weird mesh filter in there that's prone to clogging and blowing up turbos. So at least we've got this one nice and accessible. Thanks again, Barra the World, for sorting out that line kit and everything. It just makes everything a lot easier. So next up, I think I might have to look at bolting the manifold on. Okay, now the turbo manifold is bolted in, only just with 2 bolts because it's going to have to come in and out probably a couple of times. Got the gasket get in there just to make sure the spacing is all okay. It has stuff out before leaving gaskets out, and then you're a couple of mil off on things. So now that's in. I've got to get the turbo clocked roughly in the right spot, and then we'll bolt that one onto the manifold. So the turbo is now bolted up to the mani. The position of it, the core should be fine because we've got oil right through the top and then water through the sides. Not too sure about the compressor housing. So what I'm going to do now is going to get the intercooler bolted up to the front. I'm pretty sure we run into dramas with this power steering cooler, but I've just sort of unbolted it, got it out of the way for now, and then we'll see about bolting this cooler up. So then at least that way we can have a look at the cooler pipes and where they sit in relation to the turbo, and we should be good. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. Pretty happy to get the turbo and the manifold on and the oil feed run there, so I think next time it'll just be a matter of getting the intercooler bolted up, get some intercooler piping run and have a look at what we need to make. Getting closer, but not bad for a day's work, so yeah, we'll see what we get up to next time. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you next time. Bye.